And that's why you're behind, not because you're not good at stuff you do, because you didn't make it important, like how you felt not important. So this is the turning point this birthday where it's time to think differently. And the thinking differently is the queen needs emotional support. The queen needs to feel good all the time. Good morning, my friend, and welcome now to Tuesday. Well, today is going to be a cloudy and introverted day. That's because we're on the eve of a new moon, and a new moon that involves a Neptune vortex. Oh, what? That's right, I'll have your Neptune Vortex Survivor's Guide today. So keep streaming for your Tuesday Namaste today. Welcome to Namaste Today, a spiritual way to start each day. I'm your host and spiritual life coach, Christopher Witecki. Namaste, my friend, and welcome now to Tuesday. Well, today is going to be an interesting day. We're on countdown to Lightcast Day, which is the new moon, the most powerful day of the month to manifest your intentions. But what's unique about this Lightcast Day is it involves a Neptune vortex. A what? Yes, a Neptune vortex. That means just after you decide what it is you want from reality, we're all going to go through a bit of a rabbit hole and find ourselves in a new reality dimension. But before I get into details of how to survive something like that, let's take a look at today's zodiac weather. This zodiac weather is for Tuesday, August 30th, 2016. Looking ahead at the 5-day moodcast. Tomorrow's going to be cloudy and introverted because it's the new moon or lightcast day. Thursday will be sunny and super aggressive. And Friday will be cloudy and spaced out because we'll be in a Neptune vortex. More on that later. But today it is partly cloudy yet heartfelt. This is the first break or recess of the Virgo season, so be sure to take a break. Now the Great Human Walk has reached step 7 Virgo today. That means the ruling channel is channel 7, I sense, or the psychic field. And that means the ruling planet today is the planet Neptune, which is in Pisces right now. Now, our emotional focus is creating the future. The moon is in Act 2 of Leo, so listen to your heart. And our mental focus is none of the above. Mercury is retrograde, and we're at step 29 retrograde on top of Jupiter, a spaced out degree. So today your heart may feel tender. Your mind may not be able to focus whatsoever. I call that a Neptune vortex. And in your Megascope, I'll give you tips to surviving that Neptune vortex. But first, grab yourself some tea, and let's have our daily tea time. Hello, my friend, and welcome to our tea time. Today's tea time topic is a sequel to a Sensei story I was telling, and it is titled, I Got the House, Now the Dog. So you might have seen that segment or not. If you're a subscriber, you can watch that segment, but I began this story with how I first discovered how to lightcast reality and discovered the 11 steps of serious joy. And the first thing I manifested with that ability was a house. But I was looking at the time for a girlfriend. In fact, I asked Spirit, where's my girl? And Spirit said, when you get the dog, you'll get the girl. And then I said, oh, I need a house to get the dog to get the girl. So I manifested a house. Now here we are in the house. In fact, I was in the house about a month, actually. And I have a really powerful weak spot in my chart. I'm not going to, it's in Cancer. I'll say that. It has to do with emotion. And this lunar eclipse in Cancer every year kind of puts me down. Always makes me feel super sad. Something I always face. Now, this last couple years I've been doing great with it because I've learned so well how to manage that spot. But after I got in that house, that spot came right up. It was Cancer. And so I went kind of down into this slump. And I think part of me was just falling back and relaxing, that I had finally grounded myself in a house. But then one day I woke up and I was like, I'm ready for that dog. I'm kind of sad. I'm really ready for a dog, authentically. And so I chanted to Spirit and basically said, I'm ready for the dog. Where's the dog? And Spirit said to me, we'll tell you when to go to the rescue shelter. And I was like, oh, okay. So it was like rescue shelter. I definitely got that it was going to be a rescue shelter. I had a little image of a rescue shelter. So I said, all right. So each day I chanted. And things actually got harder, I remember, because we had the sun actually crossed over that spot, and there was something else going on astrologically, so it was extra hard that year. So I really felt bad. And one day I woke up and I chanted, and Spirit said, today's the day. And I was like, oh, wow, today's the day to get the dog. Because I've been asking each day, and each day Spirit's like, nope, nope, nope. I kept getting a no. So I got up and I researched 2 shelters in my area, because I just kind of intuitively felt it would be one of those 2 shelters or one in my area, because that's how it usually works out. And I went to the first shelter with my son, actually. My son Miles came with me, and we went looking at all the dogs. And that was the first time I'd been in a shelter, and as a psychic. And just as a side note, whoa, was I hit with spiritual sadness. So it kind of overthrew me for a while, because I had never been psychic and in a shelter before, or opened my psychic energy. I'd been in a shelter before, but I was young and was totally tuned out. So that was overwhelming. I went looking around into the eyes of each of the dogs, and I was just like, no, I don't sense any connection here. So my son also was like, yeah, none of these dogs seem happy, because I'm a happy person, so my dog's got to be happy with me, right? So we go, all right, let's go to the next shelter. And at this point, it's getting kind of late, because it takes a while, and all the process, and shelters are way low staffed, so you have to wait a long time and stuff. So we'll get to the next shelter, and again, walking around, tremendous sadness from all those pets, and turn around the corner, and finally there's this dog that just gets up and is like, hey, hey, hey. He literally was like, hey, hey. He kept doing this and it was so funny. It was like a constant ends, I don't know what it was. It was like a soldier kind of constantly standing tall. Hey. And so I was like, wow, this is a fun dog. And I walk up to the cage and I really like this guy. He seems really cool. And I look over at the paperwork and it says, hello, I need to be adopted. My name is Chris. And I was like, oh my God, the dog's name is Chris. And then I look at the dog's birth date, and the birth date of the dog is the day of my lunar eclipse. I'm like, oh my God, this dog was born on the day of my weak spot. I can't believe it. So we take the dog, into the little kennel or whatever. And I'm like, this is it, man. This is my dog. His name is Chris. People won't even believe that his name is Chris. They're gonna think I'm a narcissist. I don't care, So we go back and we're like, let's adopt him. And basically, when we get to the front, the person at the desk is like, sorry, no more adoptions today, and we're closed on Sunday, so come back Monday. And I was like, oh my God, I have to leave my dog. I was like, so I basically had to go, had no choice, had to wait a whole day. And the whole time I'm thinking to myself, should I adopt this dog? Should I not adopt this dog? I actually start thinking is this right? And then I think it was at 1 a.m. I woke up on Sunday kind of in a fury. And I'm like, of course it's right. That's the whole lesson. I have to adopt Chris. Chris has to adopt Chris. You know what I mean? And to me, I thought it was Spirit completely communicating a message to me, which is also, by the way, the answer to my lunar eclipse in Cancer, that I needed to adopt myself emotionally. All right. And this dog represented that. And I saw this. And this is how Spirit talks to me. It's our own dialogue of our own story. I know it's no accident that the dog's name's Chris. I know it's no accident it has the birthday of my lunar eclipse. This is my life, by the way. I don't share it very often, but it's always this. And here it is. So finally Monday comes. I'm like, I have to adopt this dog named Chris. And so we get there, I'm there at, I think they open at 6 a.m. or something, or 7 a.m., and I was there at 7:01, with all my new leashes and stuff I bought, praying that, nothing happened or anything, but feeling whatever is right. Go there to adopt the dog and whatnot. Last little anecdote to the story is that when we were kind of checking out, I was like, so what's the story of this dog? Well, this dog was found roaming the streets, in a part of where I was, and and he seemed to be, far away from home and whatnot. Like he could tell he was on the road for a long time for somehow. And I was like, well, how the heck do you know his name is Chris and his birthday? They're like, oh, we don't. And I was like, what do you mean you don't know? They're like, oh no, whoever catches the animal gets to name it. And they said, and they basically, the birthday, if we don't know, that's the day we actually caught the dog. I was like, oh my God. So it turns out that the dog was named Chris as this weird affirmation. Who knows, the intuition that came out of the head of that catcher was doing it for me. And they caught the dog on the day that my lunar eclipse was feeling the worst. And that's when he was found. So the universe literally answered my call, and it just took days for me to find the dog. Amazing, huh? One of the many miracle stories that Sensei has to share. So let's take a sip of tea. And yes, there's a third part to this story, which is how I got the girl once I had the dog named Chris. All right, and we're going to talk about what's going on today and prepare you for this new moon. Okay, so it's funny because I was telling the story, the whole time I was telling that story just now, I had goosebumps, and that means my guides were with me and they were laughing. And they laugh a lot. They like to share the stories too for some reason. But what's funny is, so my clarity is like 100% right now, checking in. And I'm like, Spirit, what do you want to talk about? They're like, why do you think you just told that story? It was really funny. And it's because they wanted me to share that story because they want you to know how much they actually are working with you in every step of your life. It is like basically, if you don't come down on earth and live, remember, we live in the now, which is right now. There is no other. It is now. So if a spirit isn't alive right now, they're on the other side if they're not incarnated. And if they're on the other side, because they're not in the game, they want to play and help us. It's so exciting. It's hard for them to watch and not help us. So spirit is dying or has died. They're saying, we've died to help you. They're not dying. They have died to help you. And this is a spiritual day. So listen to your little miracles today. Listen to your things. We're in a vortex. And that means that we're in the highest spiritual realm of the entire year, where reality and spirit, the line between them, becomes very, very, very thin. And you don't have to be a kooky Chris Witecki to listen to your guides on a day like today. All right, so I actually have a survivor's guide to living through a Neptune vortex. That's today's guides today. And this will help you on your way. So listen to your guides. But step one, turn off your mind in the vortex. When I say turn off your mind, I mean for the next 4 days, you don't have to figure anything out. You don't have to find the answer. This isn't the time. This is a time where you just surf and observe. Step two, watch the shadows in a vortex. By the shadows, I literally mean out of the corners of your eyes. I mean the dreams. I mean, all the little symbols, all the little weird things. Yes, it's weird. It is literal. There's a reason for it. That's what I'm trying to say. Okay, Mercury retrograde. There's a reason for it, and you want to watch those shadows. Not because there's dark stuff in there, but stuff that's not in the light. And then step three, dreams are 100% relevant right now. So anything you pick up in a dream right now is not an accident at all. Even if it's super bizarre, pay attention, maybe even keep a dream journal for the next 4 days. All right? Okay, for those watched over, let's see, by my personal Sensei service, today in your pep talk, I will give you a pep talk on preparing for light casting, what I do, what my Sensei ritual is when I light cast reality. And at 3 o'clock, I will give you for your eye candy, your light cast agenda, what it is that you are creating in this powerful day. Now, if you're not watching on the mothership and watching on YouTube, well, please be kind and do subscribe. I thank you ahead of time. And if you'd like to follow me on Twitter, you can find me on the handle of C. Witecki. And if you'd like to know more about the bright star you really are, I have built services, tools, and a community of light at SeriousJoy.tv. In fact, you might consider trying my 7-day personal Sensei service. It's only $1.99 to give it a try. You can unsubscribe easy in the software, and you will learn a lot about yourself in that time. Come find out more at Serious Joy. All right, my friends. I will see you tomorrow when it is Lightcast Day. Remember, until then, Sensei Chris loves you. Live in your heart and live love be.